Greetings, Fulayans. I haven't been able to upload any MYFAROG content lately. I've mostly been busy with some other projects, such as a myth module. I've almost got another one finished. And at the same time I'm trying to finish a novel and also doing my own role-playing game, which is going to be heavily based on Anglo-Saxons, Norse, Celts, in a kind of mythological setting. So I don't think that will be finished for some time. Might even take more than a year or 2 years. I can't really put a date on that, but when it's out, you'll find out. So in this video, we have a Berserk called Axius, who's from the Bearskin tribe. He is an 18-year-old Berserk, and I just made some stats for him very quickly, as you can see here on a piece of paper. Nothing too fancy, and here are his stats. So he's got his charisma at 14, constitution 13, dexterity 7, int 11, strength 16, and his but wisdom, it should be willpower. See, I haven't played for a while, but that should be willpower 14, and there are the modifiers, so charisma +1, constitution +1, dexterity -1, strength +2, and willpower +1. He's armed with a winged spear and a large plywood shield. The large plywood shield grants him +3 to his defensive values for melee and missile attacks. And the winged spear gives him a d8 +1 damage, and -1 to cut rolls, +1 to shock. And of course he's using it with one hand, so he won't get some bonuses that he might otherwise get if he were to use it with two hands. He starts with a fighter talent that gives him +1 to melee. Got +1 size, stamina points 10, HP 18, and here are his combat stats. So OV melee +4, OV MI -1. As you can see already, he's not very dexterous. He doesn't have any ranged weapons anyway. His DV melee is +16 and his DV MI is +13, dodging +1. He's wearing a fur shirt. His totem animal is a grey wolf, and he's also got a helm, so he's got +1 twice, so it gives him a total of AV +2. And well, Axius, he's been spent most of the morning walking in the nearby forest to the south of Bearskin, just enjoying himself. And after about 3 hours, he hears some voices in the distance coming from the south. He immediately recognizes that the voices are in fact Khemetians. He's not fluent in the Khemetian tongue, but he does know enough to be able to understand a decent intermediate range of conversation. So Axius creeps up behind a grove of oak trees, and just to make sure that he's out of sight, and he listens into the conversation, and he overhears the voices of 3 Khemetians, and they are plotting and scheming to raid one of the nearby villages in Irulia around the time of the next full moon in order to capture and kidnap some of the young children to sacrifice as a part of their blood ritual, which is something that, as some of you may know, something that Khemetians do. Yes, so of course Axius is noble, and he wishes to stop the despicable Khemetians in any means possible. So he makes his presence known, roars out at the top of his voice to praise Votanash. The 3 Khemetians turn around in shock, but they keep their ground as they draw their curved, wicked short swords and their daggers. So here are the stats of the cultists. As you can see here, pretty standard for civilians. There are 2 level 1 cultists and a level 5 one here, who is for all intents and purposes, very similar. He has slightly higher HP, 4 more, and slightly better combat stats. And yeah, and here is a quick look of the HP and SP of Axius. Cultists 1 and 2 are the level 1 Cultists, and Cultist 3 is the level 5 one. So you can see there's quite a difference there in the stats, and well, we'll see what happens to Axius as he charges in, if he's able to take down these 3 despicable, filthy-minded Khemetians and save some lives in the process. If he does survive, then I'll hopefully make another combat simulator video, and I'll give him experience points, 100 for each of the level 1 Khemetians and 500 for the level 5 if he does survive, and yeah, and then we'll keep it going, and he might level up eventually. We'll see. He might face other foes or beasts. So the red dice here is Axius, the 2 green dice are the level 1 Khemetians, and the slightly purple dice is the level 2 Khemetian. Well, anyway, Axius charges in. He has the initiative, and he's going to attack the first cultist, which is the one on the left here. I might be a little bit rusty when it comes to this, but we'll see, because I haven't played in a while, but it's a good exercise for me to refresh my memory. So normally Axius has a +4 to his OV melee. He gets +1 for his fighter talent, +2 for his strength, and he's got a shield and a wing spear that gives another +1. Of course, you have to remember that he can, attack and bash with his shield, so that gives him an extra +1 there. The Khemetians have a DVME of +10, so it shouldn't be too hard for him to break their defences. However, they do have a +1 to their dodge, as do all of the other participants in this melee. Anyway, Axius gets a +2 to his OV for this round, and a +D4 to any damage. Charging will take away 2 from his stamina, so I will do that in a second. So let's see what happens. The first attack, so Axius charges in with his spear, and he's going to try and skewer this Khemetian and send him back to where he came from. Let's see what happens. So on the dice we have that's a 10 +6 in total, so that's 16. That is 6 over the Khemetian's defense. However, he does have a dodge of +1, so Axius beats the Khemetian's defense by 5. So let's see what happens here, and it's a good hit, so it's going to be damage +2. So actually need to get a D4. Should have been more prepared. 1 second. And we're back. So Axius will cause a total of D8 for his spear, an extra D4 damage for a charge. This wing spear gives a +1, and I've got a +2 for getting a good hit, so this will be a D8 plus a D4 plus 3. So let's see what happens. So here we have 3 +1 4 +3 7. The cultists are just wearing their robes, so they don't have any protection here. So this Khemetian has suffered quite a nasty wound indeed. So that will take him down to 4 HP. Now you could roll on the serious critical injury tables, which are in the coming. I don't have at hand, which might, which I just usually elaborate the damage a little bit more, and it will tell you what part of the body has been struck and some further consequences depending on that location. But like I said, I don't have it handy right now, so I won't use that. So the Khemetian is down to 4 HP, but first we have to roll for cut and shock. So this swing spear, it's +1 for I can't even find it. There we go. So it's -1 for the cut and a +1 for the shock. So I caused 7 damage, or round that down to 6. So that will be a -4 to my cut roll. Let's see what happens. So on the dice we have 8. Take away 4 from that, and let's see what the bleeding effect here. I believe it's a moderate bleeding, or medium bleeding, I should say. Let's have a look. Yes, it's a medium bleeding. So the Khemetian will lose 1 HP every minute for a total of 6 minutes. So within 4 minutes he will bleed out unless they somehow win the melee and he gets his wound tended to. So I'm going to put an MB for medium bleeding. Now, it's a -3 to the next roll, which is the cut. However, the spear is not as good at shocking his opponent as it is cutting. So this will be with a +1. So that will take it to a -2 from the next roll. Let's see what I get. So I have 13 on the dice with a -2. That takes it to 11. So the Khemetian is not stunned or anything. He's able to continue. However, I will roll for morale to see what happens to him now. So on the dice I have 13. So he's okay. He's going to stand his ground. He's not hasn't been affected somehow by the blow too much, at least psychologically. Now, what happens next? Because Axius charged, that will reduce his defense slightly by 2 for this round, I think. No, actually 1. So he will have, for this round, he will have a total of DV, ME plus 15 instead of 16. Now, take into account that the Cultists, they have a OVME of +0, so they're going they will need at least +15 on the dice in order to hit him, or +14 in the case of a level 5 one. So let's see. Now normally we would roll initiative here, but I'm going to skip that for this melee, for this round anyway. So the Khemetian who was injured, he will attack back. He gets a 15. So he does actually manage to cause a near miss on Axius somehow. So quite impressive for him at least. So that is damage halved with his curved short sword. So let's roll a d6. That's a 4. We'll halve it to 2. However, Axius has a AV of 2, so that will absorb the damage. Good for Axius. Now next blow is from the other level 1 cultist, and that's nothing. And the level 5 Khemetian has a +1 to his roll, so he gets a total of 11, 12. So nothing there. Now all of the participants will lose stamina points. Axius will lose 2 for his charge. That will take him down to 8, and the Khemetian's down to 7. So of course when they reduce their stamina to 0, then they will become tired, and from tired they become weary, and so on and so forth. So the next round, now I roll for initiative. Axius will have a +4 for his spear. However, he will have -1 because of his inferior dexterity, so he'll have a +3. So he gets a 6. I'll roll for the Khemetians as 1, and they get a 5. So Axius will go first. And now, because he has the fighter talent, he could choose to attack more than once. But for now, he's just going to attack just once. He's going to try and finish off this Khemetian here, who he is already wounded quite severely. So we're going for his Khemetian now. Let's see what we have in the dice. That's a good roll. That's a 14 plus a 4. That's an 18. So he's beaten the defense of the Khemetian by a total of 7. So that's a very good hit. Damage +4. So there's no need for me to even roll for damage, because the Khemetian only has 4 HP remaining. So Axius just skewers his throat with his wing spear and pulls it back out, and readies himself to face the next Khemetian dog. So we can remove this dice here. Now, next, the other level 1 Khemetian will prepare his attack. He comes in, he gets a total of 11. It's not good enough to beat Axius's defences. The more experienced Khemetian comes in, and again it's not good enough. He only gets a 9. So we can reduce the stamina by 1 point for Axius and the remaining 2 Khemetians now. So as you can see here, Axius has 7, and the other 2, actually they should have 6. Yes. Good. Now again, you can roll for random item damage, but I will skip that just to make this as short as possible, I think. Now, next round, Axius will come against the other level 1 Khemetian, and we have a total of 13 on the dice, plus 4, that's a total of 17. The Khemetian has MEDV of 10, plus 1 for his dodging, 11. So it's 6 over his defense. So as you can see here, it's another good hit. Plus 2, I already get a +1 for the spear, so it will be D8 plus 3 damage. Let's see what happens. So it's a 4, so it's a total of 7 damage caused to the other level 1 Khemetian. It's the same that happened to the first one. Cut and shock again, so it will be cut with a -4 and shock with a -2. So cut coming up, and we have, it's pretty high, so 13 at 9, so that is light bleeding, and the shock will be, that's 12, 10, that's nothing. So that second Khemetian has a light bleeding. He will lose 1 HP every hour for a total of 6 hours, unless he, you know the rest. Anyway, let's roll for morale. Ooh, it's a 4 on the dice for the Khemetian. So, I forgot what happens here. He will be afraid for D6 rounds. 6 rounds, so we get a -2 to all of his skills, and he can't fight offensively, as if he was going to anyway. The level 2 Khemetian now comes in to protect his despicable comrade, and he gets a terrible roll. It's a terrible attack. 5. Axius laughs in the face of the Khemetian, and he draws his attention to the level 5 Khemetian, the boss. They all lose another point of stamina, and Axius will attack twice this round. So 2 attacks, and each attack will be with a -1. So Axius will have a +3 to both attacks. Let's see what happens. First attack, so we have 10 on the dice, so that's 13 in total. I'll note that down. That is it's only 1 over his defense. Second attack is 13, 16, so the second attack is a bit better. Let's resolve the first attack first. So it's just a hit, D8 + 1 damage. So that's 6 + 1, 7. Takes the Khemetian down to 8 HP. I'll roll for cut and shock if needed in a second. Second attack, I've got a 16, so that's 4 over the defense, which should be a rather good hit, I think. Yep, +1 damage, so that's D8 + 2. Roll it didn't roll properly. That's a 1, so it's another 3 damage to the Khemetian, takes him down to 5. So let's do cut and shock. So first of all, we have 7 damage was caused from the first hit, and only 1 from the second. Sorry, 3 from the second attack. So, let's see, yes, 7. Okay, 7 and 3. So the first attack will be with a cut of a -4 and shock plus -2. Oh, look at that. Triple 1 on the dice. With a -4 to that, so let's see here. So that's inferior to 0, so cast a D12, instant death if result is more than the target's size. Otherwise it's serious bleeding, so we're going to need a D12 here. Luckily I have one in my dice bag. Let's see what happens. I mean, this Khemetian basically has a size of +0, so it should be instant death anyway. That's a 4 on a dice, so yes, the spear enters the Khemetian in the head as brains come out, or what brains there were anyway, and yeah, Axius front kicks the Khemetian, and the body crashes to the forest floor against a hard rock and bleeds out. So that's 2 of the Khemetians dead. The other one is on his deathbed as well. Very low on battery, so I think we can say that Axius has won this melee round. He will finish off the Khemetian in the next round, and he has killed these 3 Khemetian cultists who otherwise might have kidnapped some young innocent Fulean children and sacrificed them in a blood ritual. So he's done a good deed for his tribe and his people, and we will see Axius in the next fight simulator. If you this video of course cost me nothing to make, just out of because I have a passion for the hobby. So give me a like if you want, and let me know if you'd like to see Axius face any particular beast or any monsters or other humanoid type of characters in the comments section. So thank you for watching. Hail Odin. Ox Hail Odin.